What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Mina 2 deck that I took to this week's Webcam Wednesday. Mina 2, when you think about 6-hand size aggro, is probably one of the first decks to come to your mind. And so what I want to do is I want to show you my flavor of Mina 2. So before we jump into the deck itself, let's talk about the character. 6-hand size, 27 health. It says face down cards in your card pool do not count towards progressive difficulty, which is very good. It's very, very good. But it gives you a bit of a puzzle to solve. So you're trying to find face down cards. Like, this is the whole goal, is how many of these cards can I put face down? And normally that's a pretty difficult thing to do. And then we get rewarded by that by not just they ignore progressive, but response after your punch or range attack deals damage. Your rival loses 1 health for each face down card in your card pool. So if I hit you for 4 damage and I've got 2 cards in my card pool, I'm gonna burn you for an extra 2. My 4 damage moves now 6. And this is even better than, you know, just giving it the bonus damage, because it means that on partial blocks you're still getting the full benefit of Mina's burn. And so what we're going to do is let's talk about the deck, with our first attack being Battle Aura Release. This card is surprisingly mid in this deck. 4 high for 4. It flips a card in your stage to redraw a card. It is range, so it works for our burn. But this card is normally one of our openers, and it's not very big. Its entire goal here is just to turn our foundation base into potentially extra card draws, because as a 6-hand size aggro character, we're trying to end the game on turn 3, turn 4 at the absolute latest. That's our goal. That's our desire. And so this card just helps us flow and churn through our deck a little bit more. And it being, you know, a little bit better than rate early says that they want to block early, and then if they don't, which means that they can't block later. And so if I've got a bunch of cards face down in my card pool and I hit you with this, I burn you for the extra. Speaking of face down cards in our card pool, our finisher is actually Acid Chop. 4 high for 4, same kind of stats, but it says response after you play this card, add the top card of your deck into your card pool face down. And so as an opener, we can use Acid Chop to put a card in our card pool and say that all of our moves now burn for 1 extra. Or as a finisher, because it is a flash attack, it is very hard to interact with. And so whenever I play my Acid Chop, I've got 4 or 5 face downs in my card pool. This is going to 4 high for 4. Their defensive enhances don't work, and then I'm going to burn them for all of the for everything that they're worth. This card is very, very good. I think it's a mandatory 4 of in order to play this deck. And the one mid block, excuse me, is pretty good as well. Onto the card that really upgraded the deck, took her from the lowest of lows. Everybody used to make fun of Mina 2 for being a bad character, into you know, being in the 6-hand size aggro conversation. That's just Assault Dust. A 4 difficulty, 5 high for 5, a little zone overload, and its simple text is after it resolves, we flip it. And so, like, having double Assault Dust is like one of the best openers that we can have, right? I play my Assault Dust, it's a 5 high for 5, after it resolves, we flip it, and then we play this one also on a 4 because of Mina's static that says after it resolves, flip it. So now everything's going to get an additional burn too, after I've, you know, slung 11 damage worth of attacks at you. It feels very, very good. So this card, again, it's on all 3 of her symbols. This is the card I think you have to have also at a 4 of. It's range. It just does everything that this character is looking to do. And now we have the best attack in the deck, and it's just Trey Size. Trey Size is another one of those cards that auto flips itself because of the echo keyword. But it is a 4 low for 3, and so, like, whenever you combine it with things like Assault Dust, the big issue with Trey Size is that it's just 3 damage. It's just 3, but when I have, you know, 3 cards face down in my card pool, then I play a Trey Size, well, then it swings and it hits for 3, and then it'll burn you for 3, and then I get to replay it. It hits for 3, it burns you for 3. It then flips, we play another Trey Size, it hits for 3, it burns you for 4. And so it essentially is 2 bonus attacks because of how it wants to destroy in order to get its echo, and it's a range, so it uses the Mina burn really well. The last big staple attack, you could say, is just Acid Splash. I like this card a lot for it defensively. It has Deflect on it, which is really neat, but as you will see, there's a bit of a sub-theme, and I'll tell you the tactic that we wanted to use of Foundation Destruction. And this card says, spend a momentum, selectively destroy one of their foundations. So if they have a way to interact or reduce the damage of something that we care about at the end, or a way to interact with, you know, the flash attack that we're trying to play super late, this card just selectively destroys it, which feels very good. It also says flip one of our openers, such as a battle aura release in our card pool, right? We flip it, and then this one gets 4 speed, and now this one does not count towards progressive, which is, you know, it's an extender that flips the cards you don't normally flip, like chaining, like having double acid splash after a battle aura is like, I play the battle aura, it does its thing. I play acid splash, I flip the battle aura to make it a 4 low for 5, and then play the acid splash to flip the acid splash. It's now a 4 low for 5 that then will burn 2. And so like this card is just an extender that feels very, very solid. And then the last attack that I have in the deck is Punisher's Beam, another card very akin to Acid Splash. And tactically, our goal here is that I play the Punisher's Beam, I discard the top 2 cards of my deck, I find a momentum, and I steal it. And then this card hits you, and then it also says I selectively destroy a foundation. From there, I play the Acid Splash. Since I stole the momentum, I break your thing. I flip the Punishers. It's now a 5 low for 5. It hits you, you burn for 1. And so it's like this cheeky little 2-card combo that says, you know, destroy 2 foundations if the Punisher Beam hits. It also makes this very fast and gives it the, like, it's neat. It's a neat idea. It's probably the weakest attack in the deck. If you wanted to make this literally any other card, I wouldn't hate it. I think it's fine. I think it's totally fine. Up next, moving on, that's all of our attacks. Let's move on to the actions. We've got 4 Chomp, which is the same idea as the Punisher's Beam, but is a little more consistent. This card says that I play Chomp up into my card pool and selectively destroy their card. From there, I play the Acid Splash, and then I can flip the Chomp. If I have the momentum, I then get to break it as well. And so it was essentially, hey, I'm going to selectively break your defensive pieces, and then because of Acid Splash being able to flip the card in the card pool, making it not count as progressive and give them all burn, this was a very cool non-attack opener that was just like really, really potent. Those are the only actions. We could have played some more because we are the death symbol, but we don't need them. Our one asset was just Battle Arena. We're an aggro deck. This card counts as 2 foundations and gets us a momentum, and we said that like the thing that we wanted to do was just to play the splash. And so this card gives you momentum for the splash, but it also gives you momentum for Trey Size. And one of the best things that you can do, truthfully, is not destroy your foundations for Trey Size. Just actually echoing it like a normal human is very, very solid in this deck. And so this deck is a little momentum hungry, and you'll see that with some foundation choices we made. Speaking of foundations, let's talk about the jobs. Aggro, Defense, Flow, Disruption. The undeniably best foundation in our deck is just a breakdancing. It says enhance, add a card from the top of your deck into your card pool face down. This deck gets +2 or -2 speed. Yes, the face downs in your card pool don't count even when you're blocking with Mina. So when you are blocking, breakdancing says that my blocks become unbelievably easy. It also is like +2 speed, +1 damage across the rest of the turn because it puts the face down and it doesn't count. Finding these in pairs because they are not unique is very, very good. And the bottom student enhance flip, discard a face down from your card pool, doesn't matter. We don't care about it. We're just there to stick the cards in our card pool, and then we're off to the races. Second best card in the deck, Malday. Response, add this card to your card pool face up or face down. It's always going to be chosen face down. After you check an attack, the best one being Trey Size, add it to your hand. This is kind of the card that like sets Mina apart from the other 6-hand size aggro characters, is because of the fact that we get to find Trey Size. Malday says flip, all my moves get +1 damage for the turn, and I found a Trey Size that I can play instantly right afterwards. Very, very strong. You can pick things up on defense, you can pick things up on offense. We probably should be playing a 4th copy of it, but I just cut it for space reasons. If you need to, you could sideboard it as well. It's got a solid deadlock, which is steal a momentum, which was relevant tonight as I played the deck. Felt good. Next aggro card, Aggro Flow card, you could say, is number 5 Pro Hero. It says response flip after this attack resolves, flip it. This card says that if you hit me disruptively, I can flip your thing and it doesn't go to momentum. This card stops shifting cards, right? After it resolves, I will flip and then you don't get a chance to shift because it doesn't see it at the end. But more importantly, it says that for my openers, such as my battle or release, after it resolves, I flip this to flip this, and then we get to play the next move and it doesn't count towards progressive, and it has +1 damage because of Mina's burn. And so this card is just like inherently strong. I would probably be sideboarding at least one more if I had the room. The deadlock is not necessarily that important. Deadlock, remove, discard up to 5 cards from your card pool because of how cheap our progressive is anyways, but this card just like feels very, very solid. The next of the flow package, we have to find the attack cards. If we find attack cards, we can play 100 of them. And so we're playing 4 latent skill, flip, discard 2, draw 2, followed by 4 Botan's coaching of flip, discard. We both discard 1, draw 1. And so I'm just digging into my deck because I'm trying to find this unbelievably massive long string. And again, I want to find these combo pieces to all work together tactically. As well as 4 horrifying realization, which is just a different flavored of Botans, but it also has a slight stun aspect. If they commit if they discard a foundation, they commit a foundation, and so that one feels super good. We said momentum was important, and so we've got 3 Titan's Pursuit. After my attack is fully blocked, I get to grapple momentum. Feels really, really good on Trey Size because of the timing. So I play my Trey Size. They fully block it because they don't want to deal with the burn because of all the cards that I have. I then flip Titan's Pursuit to snag myself a momentum off the top, and from there I can instantly echo it, and then we're off to the races. So because you blocked my Titan's Pursuit says that Trey Size gets to trigger twice. Defense-wise, we've got Always Cool, but this deck has a bit of an interesting trick with Acid Splash, which never came up tonight, but you can have the Always Cool in your stage, play your Acid Splash, build up the Always Cool to build down 2 face downs, and then use the Acid Splash to flip it and it not count towards progressive. Really neat combo, really neat tactically, but I never really needed it because of how much that I saw the Chomp, and this is just a better thing to do than to stuff your own card pool even for the build too. But defensively, this card just like saying, hey, I'm at 9 health, you play a 4 damage move that's going to get 5 damage, and I just response and say no. It's just a lifesaver. It can just give you that extra turn, and this character can just blitz you out of nowhere. Up next, defense-wise, we've got just 4 surviving the final. This card's neat. It's a 0 diff. A lot of great 0 diffs. You've got 4 of this, 4 Botans, and then 4 of one more. And so building early is really good. Disruption, we've got Struggling with Study. This card's entire job is to be protection for, and we'll find it one of these days, is to be protection for breakdancing if they try to flip it, because this is just the best foundation in our stage. The other cool thing that we get to do with this, and it worked tonight, is I blocked with Chomp, breaker 2'd them, flipped the struggling, picked it back up, blocked again. And so like having a breaker 2 that you can play and then replay feels pretty good. And then my last card is just Syndicate Target. Bit of a flow card, so it's technically in the wrong spot. It's the primo target to flip with Battle Aura Release because it truly is blank. And it's just a 0/6, 0 low block. It's a flow card. It's there just to try and like build 5 on turn 1 and then swing in and kill you on turn 2, which easily can happen with this deck if you just find enough cards to flip in your card pool and you find the gas to do it. So with that said, this is Mina too. She's an incredibly fun character. I think she's one of the best budget 6-hand size aggro characters that you can play right now. And I'm playing like an expensive version, and I don't think it's going to be that much, right? Like, because you don't need the battle auras, you don't need the Botans. They could be something else. But maybe Trey Size is a little expensive, but everything else is probably manageable. If you're looking to out the gate play something a little more competitive. But with that said, thank you much for watching the deck profile. If you want to see the deck in action, I will have a video of me playing in Webcam Wednesday, so you can see the deck do its thing. And with that said, thank you much for watching the video. And as always, I wish you well.